Welcome back to our Beetle build. After last week where we got the engine all stripped and cleaned down and I had Nick and Ray helping me, I've got Ray back in with me today and we're going to start looking at the cylinder heads. So again, looking at these, they look pretty good. They are obviously all corroded and where the moisture and the damp got in, we're going to have to sort that out. So first thing we're actually going to do is strip the valves out and check, because one of the problems with Volkswagen heads, this one looks good from what I can see, they suffer from cracking between the spark plug and the valve seat. So we're going to get the valves out, clean all this up, make sure they're not cracked. As long as they're not cracked, we're going to carry on and use these. So I'm going to show Ray how to do this little job for me. So what we have here, valve spring compressor. This is a tool that we sell and it's a really handy little thing. So basically, here we go, Ray, this is what we're going to do to start off with. Right, so the idea is we just push down and that relieves, or there we go, exposes the collets. We then have to just knock the collets out. And these ones are going to be fiddly. So there we go, get the collet out. And the valve spring comes off. So all that we will clean up. And then once we've got that out, there we go. The valve comes out. So that's it. Oh well, look. I don't know if Nick can see that. There's a cobweb in there. Where? Oh, yeah. In there. So we've had a spider living in here at some time as well. Straightforward?
Yep.
There you go. So I'm going to leave Ray to carry on with that. Hopefully she doesn't have too many issues with it. While she's doing that, I'm going to build up the pedal assembly. So, over to you. Oh. Okay, so that all looks good. What we're going to do next, just get the plugs out and then we'll clean all this up inside. And so make sure there's no cracking, which at the moment there doesn't appear to be, so yeah, I think we're going to be fine. As I said, these heads actually do look quite good. They don't look that old at all to me, so we'll be able to save those. Yeah, that's all right. Do you want to... That one, Nick took one out, yeah. So that one out. Actually, if I just hold that, you crack that off. Yep. That's it. Okay, and that one. That's it, no, not too bad. Okay, just want to spin those out. Let's give them a spray and just wipe out all the residue and the rubbish in there.
I think they more look like every, you know the fishing glasses that everyone buys?
No, I don't do fishing. Right, okay, so the idea is, as I say, we just want to go round like that. There you go, you can see, and clean all the carbon and the rust that we've got here as well. We need to clean, I don't know if you can see because of the light, we need to just clean all out in here, because when the inlet manifold seat's on there, there's a gasket sits in there. We need to make sure that that's all good and clean or it won't seat and we'll have an air leak. Look at that.
That was easy.
It was that simple. There you go. So that is actually, watch this. That's the, there we go. That was the ring. We take out, so you do it again, clean that out.
Perfecto.
All good?
Yeah.
Excellent. So before, we're now going to have to see if we can get this stud either to come out, or we're going to have to...
Would hitting it with a hammer work?
No. Can hit with a hammer, which would help release the thread, but we need to just get a pair of grips on there and see if we can spin it out. Okay. If not, we're going to have to drill that and re-tap it. Okay, so we're going to try and see if we can get it out with a pair of mole grips first, if we're lucky. If not, then I might try welding a nut on it and see if we can get it out that way. And if not, then we'll have to drill and tap it. But that's it.
Ooh.
No, it's not turning, that's just...
Grinding.
Yeah, it's just the grip's turning on the stud. We'll try welding a nut on it next. No, I just sheared that off, that didn't weld at all. Right, okay, so that's the heads. We're going to leave those for the minute because we've got to have a look at Raes' Beetle. We need to get it ready to go to the Volkswagen show, and there's a small problem. What's up with it? Heating stays on or don't go on?
Heating on the left side is permanent. Heating on driver's side is non-existent.
Right, okay, so let's have a look. Wonder what we're going to find. It's going to be heater cables, undoubtedly. Right, okay. So driver's side is non-existent, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, no heater cable. So, oh, okay, hang on. Let's have a look. Right. So yeah, there's no heater cable, so it needs a new heater cable running through, and it also is going to need a new fit kit by the looks of it, because that's bent. Okay, this side's not so bad. Hang on, you got heating on this side?
Yeah, constantly blows
Constantly?
hot air.
Okay. So, you got a heater cable on this side, it's not connected. What's going on up here? Yeah, okay. I think the control flap inside the heat exchanger's gone. That's the problem. So, yeah, I don't think Nick's going to be able to see that, but yeah, there's no resistance there, which makes me think there's like a control flap in there and it's not connected. So that'll be why you're getting constant hot air through there. Bad news is, if that's the control flap, the only thing to do is to actually put a new heat exchanger on. And then the other side, no. Okay, so that side's fine, that just needs a heater cable. But this side, as I say, we need to take the heat exchanger off and find out what's happened to the control flap in there, so take that with me.
Ah!
You alright?
Yeah.
Now I can move the heat exchanger back, there you go. Yeah, alright. That was your rounded bolt. And just see where the edge was knocked off it. One heat exchanger. So this should be controlling this flap, which has fallen off. So that is completely come apart in there. If I go and get another heat exchanger, I can actually show you how it should look. I don't quite know how we would repair that. And on the other side, what you've got, get this all a bit, you have your heat cable pulls on here, which opens and shuts that. On the other side, this has been bent right out, so it's not controlling that. So we might be able to bend that back. Okay, so we need a new heat exchanger, heat cable and some levers. So luckily, of course, we're at Just Kampers, so Ray is going to go off and pick the bits she needs. This is our new heat exchanger, and what is wrong with Raes, if you can see in here, this flap has fallen off. So when you operate the cable inside the car, it opens and shuts, allowing the heat through. So the hot air from your exhaust runs through here over the heat exchanger. That converts it into warm air. That, as I say, you open the flap and it goes through. When it's closed, the warm air just escapes out through this vent here. That's the problem. That's broken, so she's just getting constant hot air into her car. So fitting a new heat exchanger, she will now be able to control her heating. Put the gasket on, but they are tight on. So basically, you've got to slide it on, put it on the 2 studs and put it into there. So yeah, backwards, forwards, that's it. There you go. And then watch the front, watch the front. There you go. You all right?
Yeah.
That's it. There you go. Right. Now, yeah, you want to put, sorry, you want to put the bottom one on first.
Yeah, I need to.
Because the exhaust is shaped like that, and as you put the nut on, it kind of gets in your way. So have you got enough thread sticking out yet?
I don't think so.
That's it. Yeah, there you go.
Right. The right way around. No.
Okay, so it's a lock nut. So you can see it's like squashed.
Yeah.
So the squashed is the locking bit.
Yeah, and then that bit goes outside.
Yeah, you got it. Now the trick is with an exhaust, is you bolt, or you put everything on, put all your clamps on, put all your bolts on loosely before you tighten it up. So
cool.
The other thing I always do with the clamp on the front,
Yeah.
if I just quickly show you here, when I put them on, always put them on that way up. So it's just the bolt sticking down,
Yeah.
rather than the thread sticking down, catching all the dirt and everything. Whether it does anything or not, I don't know. Also, aesthetically, it looks better when you look under the car. You haven't got these bolts sticking down.
Okay, doke.
All right.
Yeah.
So now we just need to bend these up
Yeah.
and get them to line up with the tinware. It looks like there might be a bit of a gap.
Yeah, it's still got to push back this
Forwards,
way.
yeah. But I think it's more than that at the moment.
I don't know, because the gap here is about the same as the gap there.
Okay. Right, okay, well that's all done, Ray, that's good. Heat exchangers on, lovely, good job there. Right, we've got to drop the car down, make sure that's not, fire it up, make sure that's not leaking anywhere, and then we're going to run new heater cables through as well. Okay, so Ray got the seat out because it just makes it easier to work rather than trying to fiddle down the side of the seat. And what you've got to do now, Ray, is just get that boot off there, undo that nut there, and then there's like a plastic washer in that there. So what you do, undo that nut, take the washer off, take this arm off, which should still be connected to the cable. So what you do, pull it off the stud, just pull it up and the cables will come out, flick the arm off and then just pull the remains of the cables out. Simple as that.
Okay.
Then once we've got that out, then we just feed the two, there's 2 tubes, and we just feed the 2 cables back down through, hook it back onto the arm, bolt the arm back on, and then connect up the heat exchanger. All rusty and nasty. There you go. So, yeah, you can see how rusty that one is.
Yeah.
And look,
They're snapped, aren't they?
missing the ends.
Yeah.
So that's the problem. Okay. I'll take that.
Thank you.
Right, there you go. Heater cables. Now, the longer cable, which I've marked for you with a bit of black marker, goes to the bottom tube. Now, I had to Google that because I couldn't remember which way around they went.
Oh, we have a cable this side.
So the passenger side's gone all the way through. So
Yeah.
it's the driver's side that's not going through.
Yeah.
So yeah, that might have a bit of old cable stuck in it.
But there's nothing poking out the end. Oh, you just snatched out my hand.
Oh, sorry. Oh, that's interesting.
Is that bodged too?
Well, yeah, someone's put like a blobber weld on there and blobber weld on there. So
It's a good job we've got a new one.
yep. There's your new one.
Yeah.
So, that goes up onto the pivot pin.
Yeah.
And, yeah. Hang on. Right, okay. There we go. We're going to drop it down. Put the seat back in.
Yeah.
Lovely. Right, so that's Raes' car back on the road, so that's all good. She's ready to go to the Volkswagen show. So now we've got to get back onto the cylinder heads. If you remember when we stripped the heads off, one of the problems we had was this stud snapped off on the inlet manifold. So I did try welding a nut on it to get that to come out, but that didn't work unfortunately. So what we're going to try now is drilling that out and re-tapping it. So let's see how that goes. What I do first is just flatten that down.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to take the grinder and a soft pad, just going to take that down so it's level. And then we're going to centre punch it, drill it out, and then like I say, wind a tap down through it. So I'll do that bit and I'll probably get you to do the tapping out bit. All right?
Okay.
What we've got to do is try and find the centre. That looks pretty good there. Yeah, that's centre enough. So we use that so we can locate the drill on as we drill it. So if we start off with a smaller size, so I'm going to start with a 3mm. And hopefully drill that without breaking the twist bit. A little bit of lube. CT90, which is drilling and tapping fluid. Right, so 5mm drill is what we use for drilling the pilot hole for an M6 tap. What I need you to do is tap the thread. So what you need to do is you put that in the hole, literally, and then, hang on, let's just, one sec. So you're doing it anti-clockwise, because it's like you're winding the thread in, so it's like anti-clockwise to start the thread.
Righty-tighty.
Yeah, righty-tighty. So what you've got to do is you've got to kind of turn that and put very, very gentle pressure on it at the same time. So you give it a couple of turns and you'll feel it start to bite, and just bring it back like that. And then a couple more turns and just bring it back a little bit. The reason you bring it back is as you're cutting the thread, it brings up some swarf. And what you do is when you bring it back, it just cuts that bit of swarf off instead of you winding it all the way to the bottom. So if you want to take that, there you go, we'll put a bit of cutting fluid in there. And there you go. Give it a go. You can feel that starting to cut, can you? You can feel it like biting.
I don't really feel like it's doing anything now.
Just it.
Am I just not being brutal enough with it?
Yeah, it doesn't feel like it's really cutting, does it?
It started to and then
it started
stopped.
to. Let's see if I can get I think the problem is I've got to drill really deep in. Well, this one, if I drop the drill in.
Oh. Oh yeah, I see it now.
Yeah, we'll be at a slightly different angle. Okay, yeah, that has bitten. So that's all right. So it looks like we've saved it.
So it just feels weird.
Yeah, but that's bitten, that's tightened up. Yeah, to put the studs in, put two nuts on, lock them together, and then you can wind the stud in, lock it down. So lock the two nuts together, and then that gives you something to use to wind the stud down.
That's how it goes onto the
studs
body.
for the rocker studs. So you had the rocker assembly.
Yep.
That bolted onto there, obviously, and then that pushed up and down on the valves, which you're about to reinstall. Well, lap in and reinstall. So, first thing, need to clean all the valves up.
Yep.
So some of them are pretty nasty where the water got in. So we'll give you the wire brush on the grinder and get you to clean all these up. And then we can show you how to lap them in. Okay?
Okay.
Raes did a lovely job of cleaning up all the valves. Now what we've got to do is lap them into the head. So the idea of lapping them in is we need an airtight seal basically. So when the valve's closed, you get an airtight seal from the inlet and the exhaust. So when the piston comes out, it gives you compression basically. So lapping them in is very straightforward. All we need to do, we'll just put a little bit of oil down on the valve stem first. We'll just put that in because we need to slide the valve in and we want that to run smoothly. And then what we use is grinding paste. So, a little bit of grinding paste, we just rub that around the edge of the valve, like so. Pop that in. And then we use our little stick with a sucker on the end of it, which goes on like that. You literally do that. You hear that noise? That's the valve face grinding against the valve seat. And the whole idea is we're matching those two together. And you can hear now the noise has changed. That's because we've worn all the paste away. So if we're lucky, we should be able to see. Just give that a clean. Can you see how that's all starting to polish up? So when that is all evenly polished all the way around, basically, we've got a little bit of pit in there, the two faces will be perfectly matched. So it's going to take a little bit of work because that one is quite pitted. So with our paste, you have fine on one end and coarse on the other end. So normally I just use fine, but I think on this one, because there is some pitting, we'll put a bit of coarse on it first, do a bit of coarse, and then swap back over to the fine. Oh yeah, you can hear the difference with that, can't you? So you can hear the coarseness of that. That's it, yeah. And then just lift it out here, lift it out, turn it, put it back in again, give it a couple of spins. So look at that, you can see that's cleaning up really nice. So that's all the valve seat where it sits on the seat in the head. I think we're going to have to recut that seat. Okay, so the other ones
don't look anywhere near like that.
aren't so bad.
That one's not looking great though.
No. Okay. Right, so I'll tell you what, Ray. Plop that valve back in there so we know that's the one that you've done for there. And
that made a lovely noise.
Yeah, you only need a little bit in there. It's just obviously so this has lubrication on it, or else you'd be, you know. There you go.
Cool.
So lap that one in. Right, so if you want to, do that one.
Yep.
And then we'll fit the springs and collets back into those so they're all done. That one I'll have a look at. We might have to get that seat cut.
Okay.
Because it's quite pitted.
Do you want me to try and do this one?
Yes.
This side?
Why don't we start with this side, it's better. Okay, so Ray and Nick did a lovely job on the valves, if you can see that one. That one is all beautifully ground, so they did a really good job. We've still got this one here that I'm not happy with. I really think this one's going to need cutting, but I don't actually have a valve seat cutter. So what we're going to do is we're going to build the head up and we're going to do a leak test on it and see whether this does actually work or not. If it doesn't, then I'll see if I can borrow a cutter from someone. So, got to build the head up, Ray. It's the reverse of taking it apart. Spring on, cap on, and then all we do is press down on that, just press down on that, there you go, and pop the collets back in, and as ever, can be a little bit fiddly. There you go. See that?
Yeah.
So that's it. Valve all back in. Okay, so if you want to carry on and do that,
Yeah.
now we are reusing all the valves that came out and they're a little bit rusty, but I don't think that's going to affect it at all. So we'll just give them a little bit of a clean. I like having a assistant.
Bada bing, bada boom.
Okay, well, there we go. Ray got all the valves installed, so we'll just put that back in the vise, and what we're going to do is a little leak test on it. So we're just going to pour some water into the chambers and see if our valves hold water. So there you go. Look at that one, Ray. That's perfect. We'll leave it for a little bit and make sure, but let's do the second one. So if Nick can go there, we can see the exhaust valve's leaking. So we're going to have to bang that back out, maybe get a seat cutter, recut the seat. And, oh, actually if we come here, Nick, as well, we've got a slight drip coming on the inlet. So, yeah. I think we're going to have to cut the seats and then relap the valves in again. So I don't, unfortunately, have a seat cutter. So we're going to have to wrap it up this week on that. And I'm going to go and see if I can borrow a seat cutter from someone. Right, you might have noticed in the background, we've actually put the Beetle body shell back on its pan. Now, the reason for doing that is we're taking it to the Volkswagen show this weekend. So hopefully if you come along, you can see the car, see the progress we've made, and come and have a chat. Tell us what you think. Tell us what you'd be doing. Anyway, hopefully, see you there.